In 2025, during a regular season MLB game, an Astros catcher walked to the pitcher's mound, not because someone got hurt, but because the game was already so out of hand that Houston had no pitchers left. And the man who put them in that position? A 23-year-old Dodgers outfielder named Andy Pages, who had already hit 2 home runs before that moment even arrived. He stepped into the box, looked at a catcher trying to throw strikes, and launched his 3rd home run of the night anyway. That is where the story begins. The date was May 7, 2025. The Los Angeles Dodgers hosted the Houston Astros, and by the time the final out was recorded, the scoreboard read Dodgers 12, Astros 2. This was not a close game at any point. The Dodgers took control early, built the lead inning by inning, and never looked back. But the number on the scoreboard only tells part of the story. What happened inside that game, specifically what Andy Pages did, is the kind of performance that gets talked about for an entire season. Before breaking down the game itself, here is something worth knowing about baseball daily and where this channel is headed. Real breakdowns, real analysis, real Dodger content every single day. Right now, the channel is closing in on its first 500 subscribers, and every person who hits that subscribe button, drops a like, or shares this video is directly part of building something real here. If you follow baseball and want honest, detailed coverage, this is the place. Now back to Andy Pages. Andy Pages entered Wednesday night's game as a promising young outfielder in his 3rd MLB season. He had shown flashes of power before, but nothing at this level. Against the Astros, he set career highs in home runs and RBIs in a single game, 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. Those are not numbers that show up often in a box score, especially not from a 23-year-old still establishing himself at the major league level. His first home run came in the 3rd inning off Lance McCullers Jr., a 3-run shot that pushed the Dodgers' lead to 6-1. At that point, the game was effectively over, but Pages was not finished. In the 5th inning, he connected again, this time a 2-run home run off Scott Alexander, extending the lead further. Then came the 9th inning, the moment with the catcher on the mound, and Pages led off with a solo home run to close out one of the most complete individual offensive performances in Dodger Stadium this season. 6 RBIs, 3 home runs, career highs across the board. While Pages was the headliner, the other major story from this game involved Shohei Ohtani. Coming into Wednesday night, Ohtani was 0 for 18, the 2nd longest hitless streak of his entire MLB career. For a player of his caliber, that kind of slump draws attention. In the 3rd inning, Ohtani broke the streak with a double. He followed that with an RBI single in the 5th, 2 hits, 1 RBI, and the slump was over. Ohtani's 0 for 18 stretch lasted long enough to generate real conversation among fans, but it ended the same way most of his slumps do, quickly and without warning. On the other side of this game, Lance McCullers Jr. struggled significantly. He threw 70 pitches total, with only 39 of them going for strikes, a 55.7% strike rate, well below the MLB average. He also threw 3 wild pitches during his outing. 2 of those wild pitches directly resulted in runs scored for the Dodgers, meaning Los Angeles put runs on the board without even making contact. For an offense as deep as the Dodgers, that kind of command breakdown from a starting pitcher is extremely difficult to recover from. Tyler Glasnow started the game for Los Angeles and struck out Yordan Alvarez in the 1st inning, the 1,000th strikeout of his major league career. However, Glasnow exited before the 2nd inning due to back pain. 6 relievers followed him and combined to allow just 1 run for the remainder of the game. The bullpen's performance kept the wing clean and the momentum intact, but Glasnow's early exit introduced a question that did not disappear with the final score. Back pain for a starting pitcher is never a minor detail. Glasnow is one of the most important arms in the Dodgers' rotation, and any extended absence from him creates real depth problems for a team competing at the highest level. His health situation connects directly to a trade conversation that has been developing around the Dodgers organization. The proposal: the Dodgers send Andy Pages and Jahir Hope to the Miami Marlins in exchange for Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara is an established ace-level starter when healthy. He won the NL Cy Young Award in 2022, posting a 2.28 ERA over 228.2 innings. Adding him to the Dodgers' rotation would, on paper, address the depth concern that Glasnow's back pain puts front and center. That is the argument in favor of the deal. The argument against it starts with what happened on Wednesday night. Trading Andy Pages, the same player who just hit 3 home runs and drove in 6 runs against a legitimate MLB pitching staff, requires the front office to look past one of the best individual performances of the Dodgers season. Pages is 23 years old, under team control, and producing at a level that suggests his ceiling has not been reached. Jahir Hope is the other piece in this hypothetical package. According to Sports Illustrated, Hope has the profile of a future star, the kind of prospect organizations hold on to and develop rather than include in trade packages. Sports Illustrated's own analysis of this proposal concluded that the Dodgers would be losing more than they are gaining. That is a notable admission in any trade discussion, when the outlet framing the deal acknowledges that the team receiving the player who looks better on paper may actually be coming out behind. It reflects how much value Pages and Hope represent. The Dodgers are scheduled to face the Atlanta Braves on Friday night at Dodger Stadium following a Thursday off day. The Braves are one of the premier teams in the National League, and this series will provide an early read on how Los Angeles compares against elite competition. Whether Glasnow is available for that series remains unknown. If his back keeps him out beyond a short absence, the rotation question becomes more urgent and the trade conversation around Alcantara gains more weight. Here's where all of these pieces connect. Andy Pages hit 3 home runs on Wednesday. Glasnow left the game with back pain. Trade proposal circulating in baseball media would send Pages out of Los Angeles to address exactly the kind of rotation concern Glasnow's injury raises. These are not separate stories. They are the same story moving in opposite directions at the same time. The Dodgers front office now holds Pages' performance, Glasnow's health, and Alcantara's availability in the same hand and has to decide which direction this roster moves before the trade deadline. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 1,000 career strikeouts, and 0 for 18 slump ended. A starter out with back pain. All of it happened in a single game, and all of it has consequences for what this team looks like in October. If you made it this far, you already know this channel delivers the kind of baseball coverage that actually goes deep. Baseball Daily is pushing toward 500 subscribers. If this breakdown gave you something real, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video with another baseball fan. It takes 10 seconds and it directly builds this channel. Now here's the comment question. Would you make this trade, Alcantara for Pages and Hope? Drop your answer below. And while you're at it, what do you think Glasnow's back situation means for the Dodgers rotation going forward? The comment section is where the real conversation happens. If you enjoy real baseball content and breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.